My dear child, have you ever stopped to ask yourself, where did you come from? Who was the first person to welcome you when you entered this world? Who spent the best years of their lives raising you? When you cried for the first time, there was someone who smiled through tears, holding you in their arms as if you were the most precious thing they had ever had. When you were not yet able to walk, there were two gentle hands holding you, lifting you up after each fall. When you were not yet able to speak, there was a warm voice repeating words of love, hoping that one day you could store the call. Daddy, Mommy! Parents are the first people who love you without demanding anything. They are the ones who stayed up all night just to make sure you had a good night's sleep. They are the ones who feed you delicious food, while they themselves quietly eat the little that is left. They are the ones who can go barefoot as long as you have diving shoes. They are the ones who can endure storms, as long as you are warm and safe. But now you have forgotten that. Growing up, stepping out into the big world, pursuing your own passions, you have learned many things from life, but you have forgotten the first lessons your parents taught you. You find their words very complicated. You think they still understand what you think about the modern world. You are a champion because you cannot fulfill your wishes, forgetting that they have done everything they can to have today. My child, the flowing stream never forgets its source. The tall tree never rejects the soil. If you refuse to abandon your roots, you will become a lost person without a place to rely on. No matter how successful you are, if you lose your parents, you have lost the most important part of yourself. I see you are passionate about chasing after ephemeral things. You seek fame, money, things that you think can bring happiness. But do you know? When you stumble, when the whole world turns its back on you, who is the only one still waiting for you to return? When you succeed, who is the one who is truly happy without a trace of jealousy? When you suffer, who is willing to bear the pain for you? Don't wait until they are no longer by your side. Don't wait until you want to return, but no one is waiting for you at the door. Look back, remember where you were born, about the people who have devoted their lives to you. My child, have you ever wondered, why are mother's hands calloused? Why is her hair turning gray over the years? Why is her back still bent, her steps slow, her voice not as strong as before? It's not because time is too cruel. It's not because they are weak, but because they gave away all the best things in their lives so that you could grow up. Your mother used to be a young, radiant girl, but the long nights awake because of fever, the days of worrying about food and money took away her youth. Your father used to be a strong man, full of life, but the heavy days of family, the sweat dripping down every corner of the birth canal, made his shoulders tired, his eyes deeper, and his wrinkles. When you were little, you looked at your parents as heroes. They could do everything for you, could protect you from all dangers. But then you grew up. I started to look at them differently. I saw that they were not as fast as before, no longer understood my modern world. When they did not understand what I said, I felt that they were hindering my life. Do you remember? They were the ones who held me in their arms, who guided me step by step. They were the ones who taught me to hold a pen, tie my shoelaces, read my first words. They were willing to exchange everything just to laugh. They did all of that without ever caring. So why, when they got old, when they needed me more than ever, did I turn my back on them? Have you ever thought about the day when you come home, but no one is waiting for you at the door? One day you want to say thank you, but your parents are no longer in this world to hear. One day you long to hold them in your arms, but everything is gone. Do you know that love and filial piety are the foundation of life? I gave you parents who devoted their lives to raising and loving you, not for you to betray, despise, or abandon them in loneliness and suffering. I have seen the tears of a mother when her child no longer remembers her. I have heard the heavy sigh of a father when his child speaks harshly. I have witnessed hearts broken by ingratitude, selfishness, and the vain illusions that this world presents to you. Do you think you are strong when you reject the love of your parents? Do you think that wealth, power, or fame can replace family love? No. When you turn your back on those who gave birth to you and raised you, you lose your own soul. A man can conquer the world, but if he loses his conscience and his heart, he is just a lost soul, a wandering soul in the dark. I repeat my own words from long ago. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in the land which the Lord your God is giving you. This is not just advice, but a command. When you are unfilial, you violate a sacred commandment, and the consequences will befall you. I have seen many unfilial people live in temporary prosperity, but in the end they suffer loneliness and despair. When old age comes, when their health leaves them, when their friends and frivolous relationships disappear, they realize that no one loves them as their parents loved them. But alas, by then it is too late. My child, do not let the errors of this world lead you down the path of sin. Wake up before it is too late. Return to your parents while you still can. Speak words of love while they can hear. Express gratitude while they can feel. Because once they close their eyes, no matter how much you cry, how much you regret, how much you want to start over, you can never turn back time. Don't let yourself become an ungrateful person, someone that even heaven and earth cannot forgive. Because when you reject your parents, you are also rejecting me. And one day when you stand before my judgment seat, you will have to answer for the mistakes you have made. Don't let it be too late when you can only bow your head in shame and beg for forgiveness. Remember, filial piety is not just a duty, but a blessing. Those who know how to love their parents, respect their parents, will receive peace of mind, prosperity in life, and blessings from me. Therefore, change today. Run back to your parents. Love them, care for them, and make them happy. That is the path that leads you to light and eternal life. My child, have you ever thought about the pain your parents have endured because of you? Have you ever stopped for a moment, looked into your parents' tired eyes and asked yourself, how much pain have my parents endured because of me? When you were a baby, your parents held you in their arms, rocked you to sleep, took care of every meal, and watched over your every sleep. They watched your every first step and were happy when you said your first word. They accepted hardship and worked hard so that you could grow up in a full and peaceful life. And yet, when you grow up, do you still remember that effort? I have witnessed fathers working under the scorching sun, their hands calloused, their backs bent by the burden of life, just hoping for a good future for their children. I have seen mothers staying up all night when their children were sick, mothers wiping away tears when their children disobeyed and heartlessly left their families. No matter how strong a parent's heart is, it will be broken when it is hurt by the child they love the most. Do you know what hurts parents the most? It is not poverty, it is not hardship, it is ingratitude. There is no greater pain than when a mother is despised by her own child, when a father is treated as a stranger by his own child. I tell you, look back at your parents while you still can. Ask them, spend time with them, let them know that you cherish them. Don't wait until they leave this world to realize that you were wrong. Don't let late regrets haunt you for the rest of your life. Change. Come back to your parents, love and respect them. Let them know that their efforts were not in vain. Let your parents' hearts be warmed by your love. That is what pleases me. And that is the path to true peace and happiness. When you are unfilial to your parents, you sow a bad seed in the ground. And one day you will have to reap the bitter fruit that you have planted. You may think that your life is fine, that you can live without your parents, that what you do today does not affect the future. I am the one who sees everything in heaven and earth. I see the tears of your parents when they are abandoned by their own children. I hear their lamentations in loneliness, and I also see your future if you do not repent A future empty, full of torment and regret? Do you think that when you have money and fame, you will be happy? You can build a big house. You can wear gorgeous clothes. You can eat the most delicious food. But if you do not have the love of your parents, your heart will still be a barren desert. Nothing can fill the void in your heart because you have lost your roots. I tell you, an unfilial person will never have true peace. During the day, they can laugh and enjoy luxury, but when night falls, their conscience will gnaw at them. You can try to forget what you have done, but nothing can hide the truth. Memories of your parents, the times they loved, cared for, and taught you, will come back to haunt you. You will remember the cruel words you said, the times you rejected your parents' old hands, and you will wish that time could turn back. I have placed an order in this universe. What you sow, you reap. If you sow love, you will reap love. If you sow resentment and coldness, you will also reap that. My dear, listen to me. Time waits for no one. One day you will look back and realize that there are things that cannot be returned. The words of love that have not been said, the hugs that have not been given, the looks filled with regret. How many times have you wanted to say, "I love you, Mom and Dad," but kept them in your heart? How many times have you wanted to call an old friend, but then hesitated? Life goes by faster than you think, and there is not always a tomorrow to fix it. Your parents may not be perfect. They may not understand you. They may have hurt you with their expectations and scoldings. They may have made you cry at night, feeling that you are not good enough, not capable enough. But then there will come a day when you wish you could hear that voice again, just once. They scold because they worry. They expect because they hope. And they can only love the way they know how. Don't let pride keep you away. Don't let past mistakes stop you from loving. Some people leave without saying goodbye. Some stories end without a final chapter. Are you sure you won't regret it if tomorrow the person you love is no longer there? A phone call, an apology, a hug can change everything. But you have to do it now, while you still have the chance. Love while you still can. Forgive while you still can. Come back while you still have the chance. I know forgiving is not easy. You may think, but they hurt me too much. I can't let go of what happened. But do you know, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or denying the pain. Forgiveness means freeing yourself from the chains of hatred and resentment. Forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free. If someone needs to be loved, love them. If someone needs a helping hand, give them a hand. If someone needs a word of encouragement, don't be afraid to say it. One day you will need it from someone else, because one day the door will close, and you will realize that what is scary is not being scolded, not the difference between generations, but the eternal silence of those you once loved. One day you will sit by a grave with words left unsaid, tears shed late, memories that can never be recreated. Don't let that happen. Love while you can, because that is the only thing that truly exists in this life. Not money, not fame, not power. Why did you turn your back on your parents? Have you ever wondered why you have today? When you enjoy a happy life, do you remember that your parents used to go without food and clothes to give you the best things? When you say bitter words, do you remember the days when your parents silently endured everything just to protect you? You consider your parents a burden, avoiding them when they are old and sick. But you forget that there was a time when they stayed up all night when you were sick, endured many hardships so that you could have a warm home. One day when you turn around, they may no longer be there. At that time, no matter how much you cry, no matter how much you regret, you cannot turn back time. Look at this world. There are so many people who lost their parents when they were young. They longed to be called mom and dad once, to be nestled in their mother's arms once, to hear their father's teachings. But you have both parents, but you don't know how to appreciate them. As the years pass, you gradually grow up, Your steps go far away. Your heart also moves away from your parents' arms. You rush into life with your own ambitions and dreams. You begin to find your parents' teachings annoying. You get upset when your parents call to ask how you are. You feel uncomfortable when your parents keep worrying about you, even though you are grown up. You forget that, to your parents, you are still a little child who needs to be protected. You know, your parents don't need much. They don't expect you to repay them with money or status. All they need is a greeting, a loving look, a warm hug. But how long has it been since you came back to your parents? How long has it been since you held their wrinkled hands? How long has it been since you told them you love them? Do you know that time waits for no one? There are people who will never have the chance to say, I love you to their parents. There are people who only realize how heartless they were when they lose their parents. Don't wait until your parents pass away to suddenly regret. Don't let the cold grave become the only place you can return to say sorry. There are days when you return home and find your parents still sitting there, silently looking at you, smiling. But there will also be a day when you return and they are no longer there. The house is still there, but no one is waiting for you. The dinner is still set out, but no one is sitting with you. At that time, you will feel a loss that nothing can compensate for. Do you know your parents are old? They are not as strong as before. Their eyes are no longer sharp. Their feet are no longer swift. They need you as you once needed them. Love them while you can, because once they are gone, no matter how much you give, you cannot bring them back. My son, remember my words. Honor your father and mother, for this is the commandment that was written from the beginning. Honor your father and mother, that your days may be long in the land which the Lord your God gives you. Do not let your heart be filled with late regrets. Live so that when you look back, you can be proud that you have fulfilled your duty as a son. My dear child, the last thing I want to say to you, remember the life you have today is not created by yourself, but thanks to the love and sacrifice of your parents. When you could not speak, they taught you your first words. When you could not walk, they guided you step by step. When you fell, they helped you stand up. When you were hungry, they gave you food. When you were cold, they covered you with a warm blanket. They devoted their whole lives, asking for nothing in return, only hoping that you would be safe and sound. My child, I repeat once again, in the 10 Commandments of God, the commandment of honoring parents is in an important position just after the commandments of respecting Him. That proves that filial piety is not only a human morality, but also a condition for you to receive God's blessings. If you know how to love and honor your parents, you will learn to love everyone and will become a complete person. But if you turn your back on your parents, if you let them live in loneliness, if you make them cry because of your indifference, then you will have to bear the pain of late regret. Because in this world, there is nothing more painful than losing the person who loved you the most without having the chance to repay them. Your parents are still alive. You do not love them, but you love others. Is that true love? If you can care for your friends, colleagues, even strangers, but are indifferent to your parents, then what is the meaning of that love? If love does not start from the source, does not know how to cherish the person who gave birth to you, is that love truly sincere? Ask yourself, if you can spend time with the whole world but cannot spend a moment with your parents, is that a complete love? The last thing I want to say to you is, be filial to your parents. It is not only your duty, but also the path that leads you to peace in this life and the next. If you can do that, your heart will always be at ease. Your life will always be blessed. And when you close your eyes and leave this world, you will have no regrets. My beloved child, Thank you for watching the video. It's great to share these messages with you. Your support, whether it's a view, a like, or a comment, is the motivation to help me continue to create more meaningful content. If you find this video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to spread the message of love. And leave your thoughts in the comments section. I'm always ready to listen. See you in the next videos. May God bless you and your family, always full of peace, love, and happiness. Amen.